I am Dr. Alice Benton, honored to be one of the co-hosts on New Life Live. And I want to share with you today how to best receive the complaints and accusations of a loved one. And I'm going to do this through a personal example I experienced recently, somewhat embarrassing. Might blush a little bit while I'm talking about this, but I thought it would be helpful to share with you folks. My husband recently told me that I wasn't listening well to him, that I was making some assumptions and some false accusations, and that I wasn't honoring and respecting some opinions that he was sharing with me about a situation we were going through in our family. I was taken aback to hear this from him. I was so surprised. I pride myself on being a good listener. This is my profession. This is my desire to apply with my husband, with my children. It's one of the best skills I have, in my not so humble opinion. I was so shocked by what he shared with me. And so certainly my initial reaction, at least internally, was defending myself, thinking through all the times that I'd listened well to him recently, all the times I'd been willing to do the comfort circle. I went right away into minimizing what he was telling me, in my mind, correcting him and pointing out how wrong he was. But luckily, I've been highly influenced by New Life for a long time, and so I knew those responses weren't helpful. And so I'm going to share with you some of the things I did well and some of the mistakes that I made in trying to receive his concerns that he and the struggle that he was going through. Despite my internal disagreement, I worked to listen with humble curiosity. And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich's comfort circle from How We Love so frequently comes in handy when I need to engage in a difficult emotional conversation. And so, because of lots of practice in easier situations, I was able to listen to him and just reflect back what he was telling me, even though on the inside I disagreed with it. But the comfort circle holds us off from quickly disagreeing or pointing out why the speaker is wrong, and it helps us to remain in an active listening role. And so I took in what he was telling me, and I was aware of my resistance and also my hurt that I felt given his complaints or his accusations, because I could see times that I had listened to him well, and it felt as if those were being overlooked. It's really important that we try to both maintain a listening ear while also being aware of our internal conflict. If we're not aware of it, it tends to leak out in unhelpful ways, such as a quick reactivity, or a switching of blame, or reminding my husband why he's not always a good listener to me. All of these reactions are normal and natural. In fact, they're where most of us go first. It's not normal, it's not natural to listen without defending ourselves, but it is what the comfort circle, How We Love, and so many of these New Life principles helps us to do. The Bible tells us to be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to anger. And so reflecting or repeating what he was saying back to me without adding my own thoughts helped to slow me down, and it helped me to restrain my defensiveness. So I received what he said, and I let him know I would think about it. I was too stirred up at the time to be able to respond well or appropriately or in a very grace-filled manner. The best I could do was to tell him that I needed to think about it. That kind of response tells our spouse that what they have been sharing with us is important, but the separation and the timeout that I needed before I responded allows us to calm down, to settle down, and to take two other important steps that will help prepare us to re-enter into the difficult conversation. So I turned to prayer. I went outside and took a walk. I needed to get away from other conversation or from my children's needs so that I could look for the truth in what my husband was saying, even though my head only wanted to point out where he was wrong. The biblical principle that we should take the beam out of our own eye before removing the speck from our spouse's eye was strongly on my mind. But I let God know I couldn't see the truth in what my husband was saying. I didn't agree with the examples that he was giving me. And yet I was willing for God to humble me and to remove the scales from my eyes so that I could better accept the truth that was possibly there in my husband's complaint. Well, it took more than just one turn around the block to get God to soften my heart. Another way for us to find the truth in a complaint made against us is to ask for feedback from a trusted friend. Because we all have blind spots. And particularly when we're getting a complaint, we're receiving a complaint about something that we think is our strength, as I did in this situation, it's very difficult to access humility. And a trusted friend who's willing to lovingly give us feedback can help us to find and to accept that truth. It's the idea that iron sharpens iron, that we need truth tellers, but grace-filled truth tellers around us. And so we can ask a friend to help us process the complaint and the concerns that were brought to us. The prayer, the walk, and the feedback from a trusted friend helped me to see that there was at least a little bit of truth in what my husband had given me. Honestly, I still thought that there was some accusation, some exaggeration in what he had said, but I found at least a kernel of truth. My lack of ability to find more probably still has to do with my pride and my blindness, but I found some truth about how I had overlooked some of his opinions, how I hadn't validated him or empathized with him sufficiently. There was a hurt that he was experiencing. And so after the walk, after the talk with God, the talk with a trusted friend, I went back to him. And in the way that I genuinely could, I couldn't accept everything he said as true, but I could accept that my actions and my inaction had hurt him, had affected him. And so I acknowledged that truth, and together we developed an action plan. And we agreed that I would increase my frequency of checking in with him and offering him a comfort circle. And so I've done all right on it. I could be doing a little bit better, but I've checked in with him more frequently lately. His hurt has diminished. And as I offer him a better listening ear and his hurt diminishes, he also has been a better listener to me. When we receive a complaint or accusation and we think of the counter complaint, there probably is also truth in our counter complaint. You think I don't listen to you well enough? Well, how well have you been listening to me lately? It touches on a similar pain that I might also have, but that should be addressed at a different time and place. Humble listening means remaining focused on the concern of our partner at the time. If I still feel that he's not listening to me well, I should reserve that for another time and place and request that he be my listener in a comfort circle. The Bible also tells us that if we try to bring our gift to the altar, if we have a prayer or a petition that we want God to answer, but we realize our brother has something against us, God asks us to go and resolve that problem to the best of our ability, at least to address it to the best of our ability before coming back with our own prayer, our own petition. That is motivation for me, that even though in my own hurt I want to withdraw, I don't want to talk about it, or I want to give a counter accusation, the understanding that God better hears my prayers and my life will be better and more harmonious if I do my part to address the problem that someone else has with me, along with the safety in the structure of the comfort circle, can help all of us to better respond to the complaints, the concerns, the accusations of our loved ones. I hope that this has been a blessing to you. And if we can help you with this or other matters, please call us here at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.